Hey, look at that. I can see myself on the screen. Hello, weirdos and malafolks, and welcome to some fun painting time with me, Doug Guslato, Top Doug Design, all the different names. Apparently, I am a man of many personalities. How's everyone doing? I hope you all had a lovely, lovely Halloween. I love Halloween. And because Halloween always lives in my heart, I decided to continue to wear my fun hat while I finish up, my personal embodiment of Halloween, the Carver. So yeah, we want to finish this guy up today. So what the plan is, because most of the painting on him is done, I may need to just push some of the highlights a little bit more. But I wanted to get him set up to do the basing on here. So I'm going to be starting out with this Sterland mud. It's pretty much what it sounds like. It's gloopy mud stuff that I'm going to be glooping down here to give it a nice look there. And then I'm going to be showing you how I do my tall grass basing technique. That effectively we're going to be having. Now, it's not going to be just like that. It's going to be a little more broken up. We can't make it full grass like it would be in reality, because then that would completely hide all the beautiful paint job we did here. But it's going to be, more there. But I'm going to show you how I do a really cool basing technique. May not be actually gluing it down, but I'm going to show you how we prep up for it. Because I've had a few questions on my, based off of the stuff I had done on my Malisaurus Rex and Titania and Marcus crew that I've posted to the Instagrams. So yeah, so we're going to start out here with this Sterland mud. Now, if you're not familiar with these Citadel basing stuff, there's other companies that make it too. I think Vallejo has got a bunch of texture pastes too. I haven't played with those. I want to at some point. Just gotta, buy them. You can see this stuff is gloopy. It's like mud. So what we're going to do is, instead of, using an actual brush for it, I got, a little stainless steel sculpting tool here. I'm going to use this to gloop it on there, and then use some old crappy brushes that are, not going to use the good brushes on this because this has got a lot of grit in it and it slices up your bristles. So going to just start glooping this on there. And as you can see, it's pretty thick stuff. And just kind of gloop it on to get some nice thickness on there. And I'm putting on a lot directly from this thing away from the model. That way I'm not worrying about oh yeah, I haven't tried the crush grass. That was weird. Been trying to say hi for 15 minutes. Oh, that's really weird, Haunted. But you're here now, and I can see you, and I'm happy to see you. How you doing, Haunted? Yeah. So I'm just kind of glooping this on there, and I don't get too close to the miniature. So that's where we're going to end up using the old beat-up brushes to kind of gloop it closer to the model. But I'm just going to kind of gloopity gloop, 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 gloop. That's a song about what I'm doing here. Twitch is being twitchy. Yeah, you know what? It's par for the course, I suppose. Or I mean, it's in the name, right? All right, so yeah, so I got a bunch of that gloopiness on there. So I'm just going to kind of go through here and kind of just tap it. Just kind of gloop, 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 gloop. So there's that so far. I was going to scrape it off back into the pot there a little bit so as not to waste it. And wipe that off. Just wiping it off, cleaning my little tool there. Hey, hey! Alrighty. So now I'm going to take one of my old scuzzy brushes. Just kind of, work what I had there a little bit closer. Work it towards the edges, work it towards the miniature there. Just get it up close to the model without getting it so that sculpting tool was hey, McBluff, thanks for tuning in. So that sculpting tool is, gets it onto here, and then I'm going to manipulate it with this old scuzzy brush. The brush that has seen better days, so I don't mind if the grit here cuts up the bristles. So this paint is full of texture grit, which makes for a really cool effect, but is really, really rough on your brushes. So use old brushes when working with it. And so now that I've got it on there, so it's most of the way there, filled it up to kind of the brim there. And so now I'm going to kind of go through and just kind of, so he's walking through a field. So I'm going to kind of add some furrows in there. Let's kind of gloop it around. And sometimes I'll be going back, and as I go here, some of it gets on here, and I'll remove it and just wipe it off on my cleaning paper towel here. As I'm doing it here, I'll show you what I did. So, kind of doing a little bit of this. Kind of working some of that moisture out of so come in with a drier brush, squish it around. Kind of move the texture around to give it some nice effects there. Give it so it's not just an even surface. I may go back and add some freehand something to it there. I don't know. It's sort of the we'll see how I'm feeling. I just kind of wanted to get the basing going here. Because also I'm like, oh yeah, I want to show off on stream my technique for making the long grass. Because I've had a couple people ask me about that with my the basing I had done for the Malosaurus and Titania and Marcus for my crazy Marcus dinosaur crew. And so I'm really kind of just going in here and just roughing up that mud. And just to give it that look. Now, as I work on the tufts here, I'm going to come back and actually, as this dries, I can then go in and more or less sculpt it a little bit. So get that clean out of there. Definitely when you, even though this is, an older scuzzy brush as I mentioned it, really want to get a good rinse on it there, because if this texture paint ends up drying in your brush, that brush is dead forever. Or very, very hard to revive. So, really give it a good cleaning there. Also, you don't, because now we're putting grit into this paint pot here. This is a paint pot where your good brushes aren't going to go anywhere near this. So, there we go. So, that's how we are for now. I'm going to go back in there as it dries and kind of, rough up the texture a little bit. But I'm going to leave him sitting up here so we can, let me just leave him sitting on camera. There we go. Let me see. There we go. We can see him. As long as you can see him. Yep. Scoot him a little bit there. So what I'm going to be working on here now is, as I mentioned, I'm going to be using this chip brush. They're cheap little, you can buy packs of these for like $5, and you will get, like probably half dozen brushes like this. Crazy cheap. And sometimes, like, depending on the result I want to go with, sometimes this is one that I've obviously used a bunch from. I went in and painted the strands of it there to get a kind of a greenish jungle look to it. I want to go, for this, I want it to be almost like a harvest time wheat color. So going with, honestly, the natural color of this is perfect to pair with this model. So don't want to use the colored one, using this one. So what we need for this, let me grab my, so chip brush. We're going to need a little pot of water here. Make sure I'm on camera with that. Little pot of water here. Couple of side trims. Got my super glue here. And then I've got, basically, I'm someplace where I'm going to be kind of parking things off to the side. So, package for a tuft thing where it also allows me a place to park my stuff. I'm going to set that off to the side so I don't end up touching things. But then what I've got what are called reverse tweezers, where instead of, like normal tweezers, you squeeze them to grip things. These, you squeeze them to open. So then when I do this, here's something cool. So I can grab that, and it holds it without me needing to hold it myself. So that's super delightful. So what we're going to do is I am going to, let's make sure I'm on camera here with this. Going to go take a hefty amount. I'm going to scoot that aside there. Take a hefty amount of these bristles, kind of that amount right there. And I haven't done this on camera before, so trying to want to make sure I show this off you all. And then we go in with those flush cutters. Like, these can be what you use to trim models off the sprue, whatever. And we go in, trim those off the side of the brush there. And so there we go. Got that. And then I'm going to take my reverse tweezers and grab that. Now, sometimes I've got to scoot it a little bit there. And there we go. So this is actually going to be almost more like a row of grass when I do this. And as you see, as they slide around, it actually gives it a more natural look to it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my super glue, and I am going to work it down into the bottom there. Now, capillary action, being what it is, will kind of suck it up into there. That's how brushes work ultimately. And then what I'm going to do here, so I'm not sitting around forever to do getting this set up. I'm going to go and dunk that into the water. Because if you're not familiar with the way super glue works, moisture is what causes super glue to set up. So by taking this, dunking into water, I cause it to set up almost instantaneously there. So now this is, don't know if you can hear it or not, but that's a solid chunk. Basically, it's like a chunk of hardened plastic almost. Dunk it again because there's a little bit still on set there. And note, I'm doing this in a cup that I can throw away later because you don't want to get your brushes anywhere near this because there's going to still be a little bit of super glue in there. And yeah, so now that, I'm going to take this, set it off to the side while I let it dry a little bit. I'm actually going to tap this tappity tap on a paper towel just to get a little bit of the water off there. Set this aside. And I'm going to make another one. So it's going to take a whole handful of these to be able to ultimately cover enough that I want on the base there. I don't remember where I heard, this is one of those old school, mini railroad building type things that if there's ever something that you want to put on your minis or in a diorama or something, and that you're not finding information on it anywhere in the minis painting community, and so I've got another one of these. Look up stuff from model railroad people, because if there's something that has been done model-wise, they did it 20 years ago. As far as, a hobby technique. So we got another one of these. And so that's where I found the idea of using chipped brushes to make tall grass. And so got some super glue in there. Dunk that in the water. Tap it off. Dunk it again. And there we go. Gonna tap off a little bit of the water there. Set it aside. Move on to make more. Oh, dollhouse people are also a good one too. Dollhouse people, model railroad. Because in the long run, ultimately, what we're doing is a little bit newer compared to dollhouse and model railroad people. So I'm going to go in here again. Make another one. Side cutters. Clippity clip, clip, clip. Yeah. So I'm going to take this one, taking this one out of there. As you can see, it's already pretty hard. I'm going to set it aside because it's still not 100% set up. Go in there. Do a little bit more. we go. Got that. Dunk. Tap out some water. Dunk. Soak up a little bit of the water in my paper towels. As you can see, it kind of, I'm going to see, it gets like that crusty, frosty bit on there, which ultimately, once we glue it on the base, we're going to be painting over it a little bit with a little bit of dirt color anyways, so it's okay. So I'm going to go back to this real fast because it's dried a little bit more. Start working the surface, roughen up that surface a little bit more. So I'm very much it's something my local guys have known for a long time, is that I am strongly of the opinion that a miniature isn't finished until it's based. And that really good basing elevates a miniature. And that an amazing miniature, amazingly well-painted miniature, ends up not looking quite as good as a moderately painted miniature with a really great basing job. So just kind of going through. Because this has started to dry a little bit, I can now manipulate it a little bit more, bring a little more of the grit to the surface, rough up that surface. Use my finger eraser, as Haunted calls it, to kind of scrape the edge there. Because I like to keep the round lip on these miniatures clean. There we go. So I'll roughen up that texture. It's kind of what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of tapping the surface of it. Tap and lift. Now, I think Citadel changed the formula on this stuff. It used to be a lot thicker and chunkier. Yeah, finger eraser, woo! So I think they used to have a chunkier version of this. But they've added a little bit more medium to it, I guess. So I found that I've got to, put it on. It's easier to put on, but it takes a little bit more work to get the texture I want on it there. So starting to get a little more texture on there. So now, as you can see, I've got these tufts going on, which I'm going to take and squeeze that a little bit. So yeah. So you can see, I got this nice long grass tuft. Now it's got all this extra stuff down there. So what I'm going to end up doing is this needs to harden up a little bit more. So new spot I got is almost liquid. Ooh, that's no bueno. I mean, I could see maybe oh yeah, I've heard good things about the Vallejo texture paste. I just haven't. I've got to find a shop near me that carries it. I don't like to order paints online most of the time because I can't really check to see if the paint has gone off. Because I've definitely had times where I've bought paints online and then I got it and it was just kind of, I don't know, had gone bad. or who knows how long it had been sitting on, Jeff Bezos's shelf. So now I'm going to go in, and so we had a bunch of those ones where those three there I'd already made are pretty large. So I'm going to go in and make a little bit of a smaller tuft. So pull it aside, just grabbing a little bit fewer bristles, trim it off. Grape hummus and a hobby paint to... Yeah, so something I do a lot of times is I will actually put the texture paint onto the base before I even prime it, and then prime it with the texture on there once it's dry, once the texture is dry, because then that lets me, it gets the zenithal look on the texture paint too, and then it lets me color it whatever color I want. But I didn't think to do that before prepping this model up for painting. And if you take a close look at it, you see how it's got that white frostiness on it there? That is, generally having your super glue frost up on you is a bad thing. But because we're actually going to go back and trim this, we don't care about that right now. So more tufts. Hey, what up, Dapper Dow? How you doing today, man? Grab some more of those. And if you want to, I mean, you can, even go in and kind of adjust how they're all kind of together. And see, I use these reverse tweezers because, yeah, you could do this with your fingers. Oh, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. You could do this with your fingers, but there's a strong chance you're going to end up gluing yourself to yourself. And that is never happy fun times. Because as hobbyists, we at some point have all super glued ourselves to ourselves. And so here we go. Dunkity dunk. Dunk, 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 dunk. Tap it off. Dunk again. Make sure it's all nice. I usually gloss varnish frosting and then mix it. Huh. So, Dapper down. I missed Chad a little bit way up there. I was confused. Like, what's going on, oh brother? Where art thou? So let's do that. And so, all right. So now we've got, just going to show you what we got going on here. So as you can see, this is nice and set up there. That is basically bristles in a rock hard chunk of super glue, which is what we wanted. Because what we're going to do now is take my blade. I'm going to go in there and I am just going to, you can see this is super rock hard. I'm going to kind of go in there and trim that off. So yeah, you can see through and through. That is basically a piece of rock. I mean, like a piece of plastic. So this stuff right here, that's just going in the garbage. And so now you see, we've got this really nice little tuft here that later on, now I'm not going to, I'm just prepping these up ahead of time because these are eventually going to go on here. And let me just grab some tweezers. So I've got that. And now the texture paint needs to be dry before I do this. Because what I'm going to do on there eventually is I'm going to dry brush it just to bring out the texture a little bit. And then I'm going to be gluing these on there. But as you can see, that's the cool look we're going to be going for. And so it looks like he's coming through this long grass. And the fun thing with it is, we can go and trim these up as we need. I'm making a whole bunch of these at different sizes. Now go back here. Got this one. Let's trim this one. And now this stuff is rock hard. Takes a little bit of rocking back and forth with my hobby knife here to really cut through that base there. And what I end up doing is sometimes I just need to do this. Because leverage. So yeah. So see, you got a nice flat base there on which then I'll be able to go and glue this on there. I can go back. I can trim the grass as I need to. I'm like, oh, well, let's go. And here we go. Cut the grass a little bit. Trim it up to make it look more natural. Because, unlike a brush, grass doesn't grow all exactly the same size. And so that will then go nicely on here. And it's sort of that I'm making more than I probably need right now, because then when it comes time to actually put it onto the base, I'd rather have more made up than I need, because that allows me to, cut back a little bit. It's better have more than enough than not enough for when the time comes to actually put it on the base. Now, as we can see, this is starting to dry up even more here. There we go. Keep tapping that. And I'm kind of doing it in like lines, not exactly lines, because establishing kind of vague, like you'd get in a field. Getting that feel of a directionality to it there. Because this stuff does take a little while to dry. Especially when I put it on as thick as I did. There we go. So yeah, so let's see, what do I got? So I got those two, got those, got that. Let's make a couple more. I'm going to make a couple more smaller tufts. And so when it comes time to actually glue these to the base, I use just your old PVA glue, or, Elmer's white glue, whatever you want to call it. I'll just put a dollop of that on there and glue it in place. So did everyone have a nice Halloween? Oh, yes, Vagrant Song coloring page contest. Kimberly, when is that due? Dunky dunk dunk dunk. Dunky dunk dunk dunk. November 8th. Good to know. I've still got time. And by time, I mean about a week. So, to anyone who's tuning in late, what I'm doing is I'm making some tall grass basing to go with the Carver. So it starts as a cheap little chip brush. Run down to your local, hey, hello stream, how you doing, Octobit? So yeah, if you're tuning in late, what I'm working on is I'm making some tall grass basing, showing off my technique for making tall grass, because I want to do that with this guy here. This is a technique I haven't seen anyone else doing out there. I got the idea for using chip brushes from, model railroads. And so what we do, just going over the process, take your cheap little chip brush, trim that off. Hold that in my reverse tweezers. Hit that with a little bit of super glue. And then to get it to set up fast, we dunk it in water. And we dunk it in water, swirl it around, tap off the water, dunk it in water. Make sure it's all nice and in there. You dressed as a pirate. Oh, that's the color. I'm like, oh, what's this? Is it No. It's just Playwyrd sharing a really long link there. So that's a coloring page. And I will be doing something for that. I gotta, sit down and print it out and do it. And if you haven't looked into Vagrant Song yet, oh my gosh, so much fun. It's the one of the new board games from Wyrd. I suppose technically newester, because Bayou Bash came out, before that. To me, they feel like they came out at the same time because I got to experience them in person at Gen Con for the first time. And so I'm going to say this about Vagrant Song. So I did some of the beta testing on it, and I enjoyed it when I played, remotely on Tabletop Simulator. But getting the chance to actually play it in person at Gen Con, oh man, I love it. Because I think there's something about Tabletop Simulator, and I don't like Vassal. I like doing board games face to face because that's the way they're meant to be played. And while I really enjoy, I had a fun time playing on Tabletop Simulator Vagrant Song. Actually getting a chance to run demos and play it some in person, it sold the fun for me then. And that's really nice. It's that because it's meant to be played in person, and the organizer doing some of the setup on Tabletop Simulator kind of just made it feel like, a slog. But being able to do it in person, oh man, made me love it. So just making a few more of these tufts. So as you saw, so it uses dice. Well, they call them the bones. You're rolling them bones. So there we go. Getting another tuft set up. Grab these. Little super glue down in there. And then we dunk. Swirl it around, dunk in that water. So those of you who are wondering about the what I'm doing here with the water here is that the way cyanoacrylate, which is the chemical in superglue, way it sets up is it is activated by exposure to moisture. And so that sets it up rock hard, really, really rapidly. Now, setting it up rapidly like that, you will see here now, these ones are set up a little bit longer, kind of frosts the bottom there. Which in a lot of things, that's a bad thing. We're going to be painting over that. So it's okay. So for those of you who tuned in late, what I do after I've got these, after they've sat aside and set up for a little bit, gonna go take my knife, put it on camera so you all can see. Gotta go. Rock this back and forth. That's not really. Ooh, that is rock. That ends up being rock hard. And clip that. There we go. Now, sometimes, oh no, it broke apart. That's okay. I got two tufts now. Let me go. So I'm not obscuring it with my hands. So there we go. Tufts. Tufts. Long grass. So that'll be able to go and have him living in the long grass. And then this, I'm just going to throw this chunk out. And then like the length of the grass, you can trim up as you need. But yeah, so basically I've gone, and I'll just show you what I've got going on here. I've got all of these long grass tufts. And that should be plenty to base Mr. Carver here. So yeah, does anyone have any questions on that? Oh yeah. So this is why. And so yeah, cheap chip brush, and you can make this any length you want. Now, the tufts, if you take a look at the purchase tufts, because this I literally have this sitting on top of the purchase tufts. This method I'm doing right here is those are, it does end up being kind of get that frosty look on there. But I'm going to be painting it over that. I'm going to be actually painting dirt on there. And I can actually go back and add a little bit of other static grass around there or other stuff. But there's not really any hobby suppliers out there that make a grass that is this long. And so this is great for making so something, I could go with something where it's really even just, shoot, I'll make a really tiny one here. So we're just going to go with just that. So just a handful of them right there. As I fling things around, whee! So we're just going to take, really just a tiny little bit right here. And then the dunking it locks it in. Because that activates the super glue. On most of the stuff that you find out there that is super glue activator is 90% water. I think sometimes it'll have like some dissolved baking soda in it. Yeah, so look at that. So it gets like that clumpy bit there, which then we're going to trim off. But using that will be great for, put that in a base and put some water effects around it for, like some reeds for the bayou. Something else I do is like I'll take, this is another, one of those chip brushes. I went and I just worked a bunch of green paint into here. Has worked the paint in there. And then, trim that. I wanted these to be more of like a kind of like dead grass or like a wheat field. These I used for kind of reeds and stuff in a more of a swampy, jungly base. But same basic thing. And these cheap little chip brushes, the reason we oh look, I've got a 1 inch and a 2 inch here. It's because I bought a multi-pack for like $5. I got like 6 brushes. I think chip brushes usually end up being like, I don't know, 99 cents. Really, really cheap. Great way to get that long grass. And I picked that one up from looking into stuff with model train dudes. So I'm going to take that, set aside my crap of water there. Set aside those edge cutters. Alrighty. And I'm just going to clean up my space a little bit here. Because, it does leave some of this grass on your table there, which then you can actually kind of, take I'm going to actually save that. I'm going to set that, over here with all this stuff. Because then I can also scatter that around on there as, maybe some falling grass. So just save it. So there we go. I was going to set it off to the side. Because, unfortunately, I didn't think to actually put the texture paint on the base beforehand today. Oh, yeah. So something else you can do. I will. So holding it in here. Now, I'm okay with them being kind of flat. Is something you can do. So, yeah. These end up being flat. Now, he's going through a field. He's going through a field of wheat. But you can also take and layer them. So you've got 1 or 2 of them, or you've got a couple of these small ones. So this small one ended up being a little bit more round. You take a couple of the small ones, layer it together, and it helps to get, more other stuff there. Or, let's bring this back over here. So using the these ends up making it a little bit flatter there. So something we can do is, and I'm going to do this, and I may end up with super glue on my fingers because that's kind of how this goes. Let's do this. Trim off a little bit more here. If you want to make them a little bit rounder, you're going to be holding this with your hands when you do it. It just you kind of risk getting. So here's what we do. Got to be much more careful with this when you're holding it with your hands. You don't want to glue yourself to it. So I'm going to do that. And I'm actually going to take and pinch it the other direction. And yeah, you can kind of sculpt them a little bit as you do that. So you see that one ended up a little bit more round. And as we do that, I'm actually going to kind of squish it a little bit. So I'm going and kind of squishing that into a round shape there. So yeah, you can make them a little bit more round. Yeah. So the other thing is, if you want to go for the as natural as possible, and I got a little bit of super glue on my fingers there, which is why I don't do that as often. If you want to go as natural as possible, you can literally just take a couple of these bristles off, glue them in, one or two at a time. To really, you don't even have to go with the. I do the base of super glue on there to lock it together. But you can go and just take these, clip them off, glue them down. I went this way because it ends up, I've got a whole bunch of these set up now and ready to use when it comes time to actually put the basing onto the Carver's base. So I'm going to gather these up because then also these I can glue the little leftover bits on there later. So I'll put the I always put a little bit of I like to put this texture paint. Where did I put that? This is the Citadel Sterling mud, and so I glue that on there. Or I'll do, if I've got a sculpted base, I'll do that. A base topper, whatever your favorite method for having something going on your base. I don't like to put it just on a, straight, plain boring base here, because grass doesn't grow out of black plastic. So I'll put down some grit or some texture, something or other. And then what I use for that is I use just, your standard, Elmer's white glue. And glue that onto the base. Then around the bottom of it, I will actually go and... So you see how that gets a little frosty there. This ends up being an issue. If you can trim it a little bit closer to that there. But I'll then actually go and I'll paint that the same color as the basing there. And then give it a little bit of the dry brush too. So now that we've got this guy, I'm just going to be going and working. Oh, this stuff's starting. So you can see this stuff is starting to harden up. I can actually kind of squish it around. It's almost, I'm making, mud pies now, right? So this stuff is almost set up. That's good. another paper towel. See, and now that we are prepped up to do the basing on him there, I am going to actually finish off painting him. Ooh, craziness, right? Now, if this base, if the texture paint on here actually fully hardens before we're done today, I will see about actually gluing some of them on there for you all to show. It just kind of got to wait for a little bit till this texture paint is dry enough for me to dry brush it. But what we're going to do here is now let's scoot that paint back there. So he needs a little bit more highlighting on a couple spots. Alrighty, so need to highlight some of those straps. So I did the chestnut gold for those before. So the next one up is there we go. Alrighty. So Palomino gold. Yeah. Yeah, so I recently got one of those Vortex Mixers, and over the weekend, I added a bunch of, on Thursday or Friday, I added a bunch of the, bunch of agitators to all of my paints. So it can, actually hear it do that now. So cool tip for agitators that I got is I got this tip from Brush for Hire, another really awesome paint streamer on Twitch here. So these are just, stainless. That is the important thing. Stainless steel nuts. Reason you use a nut instead of using a ball bearing is that a ball bearing can actually get down into the tip of the paint and just stop it up. A nut has got a hole in it, so paint will still get through, and it's at a size where it's not going to work its way down into the tip and block off paint flow. Plus, it's a lot cheaper than most of those things made specifically for hobby. Because sometimes Vortex mixers are awesome, and it works even better when you've got a agitator in the paint with it there. I'm a recent convert to the world of the Vortex Mixer. So I'm really just going in here now. Going and highlighting the straps. Just make sure I'm actually on screen. So going in, hitting those straps with highlights. Hope you had a nice bike ride. McBluff. I was literally just thinking, have I heard people are having prolonged nerve damage from Vortex Mixers? Well, I just got the Vortex Mixer recently, so I have not. I know that they get used in, say, in science labs as test tube mixers a lot of the time. So if they were unsafe to use, I don't think they'd use those there. But I have not noticed any numbing from using my Vortex Mixer. But I've literally had it maybe a couple of weeks. I was literally just thinking, I can't remember the last time I went and rode a bike. My area isn't really bike friendly. It is good exercise, though. Which, let's be honest, I spend all day at my desk painting and sculpting and other such things. So getting up and moving around is important. I about a year ago started maybe actually more than a year ago now. Wow, yeah. I started rowing. I got a rowing machine and started rowing on a regular basis, and I've really enjoyed that. It's really helped out my health a lot. So yeah, really enjoy doing that. It's a nice way to when I'm getting art blocked, I'll go. I get up, go, I row, and usually if there's a problem I'm trying to solve and I just can't, running into a wall, running into a wall, running into a wall, can't figure out how to do something, or whatever. I go, I row, and usually the answer to my problem just shakes loose while I'm working out. And so that's nice. I really like doing that. So it solves a lot of my mental blocks. Plus, then I also feel better. Having that a little bit of getting that physical exercise, releases happy brain chemicals. And happy brain chemicals are always good. So definitely has helped me out in the last probably year and a half since I started rowing on a regular basis. I'm just kind of going in right now. Deadman Hand's tribute song to use. Ooh, what's this? Sorry, when I hear the words tribute song, I think this is not greatest song in the world. No, it's just a tribute. Couldn't remember the greatest song in the world. No, it's just a tribute to the greatest song in the world. Sorry. I apologize for nothing, even if my singing is not awesome. Oh no, I apologize for nothing. When you come to watch me paint, come for the painting, stay for the shenanigans. Ooh, Kimberly, that'd be a fun thing for it. Come for the painting, stay for the shenanigans. Huh? What do you think of that for a tagline? Because we certainly have shenanigans here. To Spotify. So I'm gonna out myself as being old. I've never used Spotify. How did you love from? I don't think I know that one. Don't know a lot of Shinedown. I enjoy some of their stuff. I tend to go. If y'all couldn't tell, I am a bit of a metalhead, but I've been big into lately a lot of folk metal. I know that sounds crazy, but metal involving like traditional instruments, which is really cool. So like I found a great band, I actually got to see him live a couple months before the pandemic. But a Mongolian heavy metal band called The Who, which it's not The Who like, Teenage Wasteland. No, not that Who, spelled HU. And it's Mongolian heavy metal band that plays traditional instruments and does like traditional. Oh, you know them? Yes, they do like traditional throat singing. And seeing them live, there's a lot of sounds that I just chalked up to being instruments. Where it's like, no, that's the dudes making these weird, crazy whistling and buzzing noises with their voices. It's absolutely insane. Hey, Farvo, what's that name of the restaurant with all the goofy stuff on the walls and mozzarella sticks? Oh, you mean Shenanigans? Oh! Yeah, sorry. I can't not quote that. Oh my gosh. So, speaking of mozzarella sticks, I've heard we were just. Ska is the music that plays in a teenager's head when you tell them they get extra mozzarella sticks. That's how I describe ska. Think about it. If you were a teenager and someone told you, hey, you get more mozzarella sticks, the music that plays in your head is ska. Not gonna lie, definitely had a ska phase when I was in high school. Super Trooper references are always a good idea. Heck yeah, mozzarella sticks! Yeah! Ba, ba, ba. Yeah, da, 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 da. So that's one of those things where I'm kind of surprised, and maybe they just haven't discovered it yet. But I know that, Gen Z loves to mock old millennials such as myself for the various things that we are into or were into. And I'm surprised that there's not a meme. Yet I was like, hey, you want to make a millennial dance like a crazy person? Put on some Real Big Fish. Because let's be honest, put on a little bit of Real Big Fish. Oh, and I'll dance like a crazy person. Don't remember what I read. Don't remember what was said. Guess it doesn't matter. Guess it doesn't matter anymore. Okay, yeah. So I got the song "Sell Out" by Real Big Fish stuck into my head right now because I started singing that when we were talking about ska. And any of you who are watching who are too young to know what ska is, or the song "Sell Out" by Real Big Fish, do yourself a favor, go look up "Sell Out" by Real Big Fish. Great video, awesome song, and I love it. Ooh, I should totally make old people criticism of Gen Z. This sucks. I can't even mosh proper mosh. Hey, come on. Can't proper mosh this. Oh, but then again, there's also the, hey, how am I supposed to skank to this? And you remember skanking? How to skank to that was the dance that you did to ska. Yeah. Because that also makes me want mozzarella sticks. Welcome to the food stream with Guslato, in which Doug makes Kimberly hungry. Well, to be fair, you did, you've got the. I was not the first one to mention mozzarella sticks. If you scroll up if you scroll up in the chat, I believe it was McBluff. Who was it? It wasn't me. I didn't mention it first. I wasn't the first one. It was the person. It was whoever said, quoted Super Troopers about the, hey Farva, what's that restaurant with all the stuff on the walls and mozzarella sticks? Oh, you mean shenanigans? Yeah, I was not the first one to mention mozzarella sticks. Or was that Octobit? Might have been Octobit. Someone else made the quote first. And then for some reason we started talking about ska. Quite frankly, if we tried to chart out any conversation with me, it makes no sense. I mean, logic does not, play into anything I do at all here. I am not, I definitely get, ooh, shiny. And go all over the place with what I'm talking about. And then I return to the topic at hand later. My storytelling style is best described as meandering. But I prefer to describe it as I paint a word picture. And then occasionally I get back to what I was talking about originally. I am notorious for telling stories like this. Hey, thanks for following, Octobit. Woo! Thank you, good sir. Follows are wonderful. All right. I think I need to do lighting on his straps up here now. Getting close. This guy's getting close to done. Honestly. Yeah, the mud is almost set up to the point where I'll be able to actually dry brush it. Don't remember what I read. Don't remember what was said. It doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't matter anymore. 'Cause you're gonna go to the record store. You're gonna give them all your money. The radio plays what they want you to hear. Tell me it's cool, but I don't believe it. Shout out with me, oh yeah, shout out with me tonight. Oh, what do we got? Who we got? Someone's following it. Under construction, something. I missed the full words. Under construction paints. Hey, thanks for the follow, Under Construction Paints. Oh, it's you, Curse 55. Well, thank you for that follow, Under Construction Paints, Curse 55. If that's really your real name. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Octobit. I'll be painting again. We've got people painting every day this week, except Fridays. But I think the next time I'll be painting is on Thursday. But we got someone painting tomorrow. I should know the schedule. Who do we got? We got tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we got at 11 a.m. We got Sybarite painting tomorrow. Oh yeah, I will definitely be posting this dude up to my Instagram once he's all done. I am Top Doug Design on the Instagrams. Eleanor at 11 and then Vyrook at 3:30. Why did we start talking about ska? I don't even know. Because now it's stuck in my head. Tonight. Company gonna give me lots of money and everything gonna be alright. Ba-da-ba. Yeah, I definitely had that ska phase back in high school. Ooh, and also that swing. Anyone else remember that swing dancing phase? Anyone remember that? Back in the late 90s, early 2000s? Now, is that because, okay, under construction paints, is that because you're too young or you're too old for it? Because both of those things are options. Arms of an Angel. Are you talking about that, song, that Sarah McLachlan song that makes us all sad when they show us puppies that we want to adopt? Because that song makes me want to adopt all of the puppies. Oh man, we can't talk about that song because then suddenly I start thinking about sad puppies and then I'm sad. Alrighty, so that one was. Right. Mixer go brrr. Just kind of going in, and I'm just going to be hitting this wood with a little more highlights. Oh yeah, like seriously, time dilation. Like, let's see. In my mind, the 80s were 20 years ago. I was going in and adding in the highlighting the wood. Yeah, I hedge clipper claw. Oh yeah, I love. It's just fun, and so I probably should go in and highlight that with a little bit more of the bright metal. I'm just gonna hit that last. I'm getting to the point where it's really just hitting the details on little buddy here. So yeah, on the line of the things, everything feel the time dilation of as we are all old people now. At least I'm old now in my brain. Uh, Apparently, so back when I was in high school and whatnot, we'd have Spirit Week things, and it's like, oh, it's '70s Day. Yeah, that would be like kids today saying doing a '90s Day. And when someone told me that, it made me very sad. I'm making you cry now? So I make you hungry, then I make you cry? I'm sorry. Oh, no, not hangry. I don't want to be on the wrath of Kimberly's hanger. The danger of hanger is very, very real. Hey, at least this time I'm not just snacking on Reese's while I'm painting. So that's a thing. Okay, so I've got an important question to put out to all the people in chat today. Gonna ask, controversial questions here about two kinds of candy. What are people's opinions on candy corn and licorice? Not together. I just meant candy corn or licorice. What are your feelings on these? Because let's be honest, those are two very divisive candies. And I just kind of want to know what people's thoughts on candy corn and licorice are. What? Okay, so I love licorice. I love black licorice. I like red licorice too, but I love black licorice. And I'm just gonna put this out there now. I'm going to publicly say this. Candy corn tastes like wax and sadness. I do not like candy corn, but I love black licorice. Like black licorice, one of my favorite things in the world. There's a song about not liking candy corn. I need to find this song. Because candy corn is the worst candy of all time. I'll say this right now. I like Necco wafers better than I like candy corn. Steel. So here's the important question. What is everyone's favorite Halloween candy then? Because I myself, I'm a Reese's man. Love me some Reese's. Peanut butter cups? Oh yeah. Peanut butter pumpkins? or the peanut butter eggs at Easter, those may be the perfect food. Well, the cups are nice. The pumpkins and eggs, those kind of have like the perfect ratio. I did. Do you debate this? Well, so I feel like the ratio of chocolate to peanut butter in the eggs and pumpkins are different than the peanut butter cups. And I don't know. It's just whatever that ratio is delightful. Oh, true. So something I came across a couple years ago that will change your life. I mostly mention this because over the weekend I went camping out at the Texas Renaissance Festival. So I was camping all weekend. But if you like s'mores, great thing to do. Instead of using a Hershey's chocolate bar, use a Reese's peanut butter cup. You're welcome. Like, has anyone else ever done that? Reese's peanut butter cup instead of a Hershey's chocolate bar for s'mores? Because if I'm the only one here who's ever done that, well, y'all are missing out. And you need more joy in your life. Well, you know what? You should try it and thank me later. Because let's be honest, it's just pure joy right there. Ooh, what? Ooh, a Mr. Goodbar. Now that, I haven't tried that one. That sounds amazing. Bish pudding? Thank you for that idea, because I feel like that Because I love a Mr. Goodbar. Also, when I was a kid, I thought Mr. Goodbar, I thought it was Mr. Goober. Because apparently I'm crazy. Or I just read it too quickly. So I thought Mr. Goodbar. It's for years and years and years. I called Mr. Goodbars Mr. Goobers. And honestly, it's still how I read it in my head for some weird reason. They're not Mr. Goodbars, they're Mr. Goobers. Because I'm a weirdo. By the way, also, if you're all just figuring out that I'm a bit of a weirdo, if you've not been paying attention, Hans Gruber has. Okay, so I'm not alone on that. Okay, you know what? That actually makes me feel better. I feel a little less weird now. That, you know what? To be fair, I don't think I've ever talked about me reading Mr. Goodbar as Mr. Goober out loud or in public. So yeah, thank you for this day of therapy here. You know, now speaking of Nakatomi Plaza, the important question is Die Hard a Christmas movie? And if no, why are you so wrong? Okay, yeah, so that's a so I've heard it argued that just because it takes place at Christmas, just because something takes place at Christmas doesn't make it a Christmas movie, but that it being Christmas time, being pivotal to the plot, is the requirement for it to actually be a Christmas movie. And Die Hard, it being the fact that it takes place during the Christmas party, is pivotal to the plot. That if it were not Christmas, this movie would not unfold as it did. fair enough. Watch what you want to watch when you want to watch it. But right now we are in Nightmare Before Christmas season. Anytime between Halloween until Christmas, Nightmare Before Christmas totally works at any time between now and then. True, be fair, it is the debate over that is a holiday tradition. To be fair. Alrighty. So, I think it is time to start doing a little bit of highlighting on the base there. All right, so that is usually ends up being that. So, 128. I just got to find the right paint. There we go. Earth brown is what I like to highlight that with already. Now, I do feel bad mentioning, Christmas stuff right now because I am strongly of the opinion that it is too early to be, talking Christmas because I love Thanksgiving. So I'm always excited for Thanksgiving. And I feel like lately Thanksgiving gets a little bit of short shrift due to the Christmas taking up so much of the time now. So I love Thanksgiving, mostly because I love food. We know this. If you haven't figured out by now that Doug loves food, have you been paying attention? Oh, so those of you who haven't seen me use these brushes on stream yet, something cool thing that another recommendation that got made to me. Let me find. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the paint I'm looking for. There we go, leather. That's what this is something newer I'm trying out. Is I'm using so Artist Opus came out with these specialty dry brushes and kind of made a splash in the scene. And actually, there's even videos. Angel Heraldez, really great guy, does a lot of the. You could actually find a lot of his stuff that he's painted for Wyrd out there. Really, really talented painter, really nice guy. But so this got recommended to me. These style of dry brush got recommended to me recently. And this is a makeup brush. Cheap little $2 makeup brush. I got a set of these, whole bunch of these. This is I'm using a blending eye brush. I've got a concealer brush. I've got an eyeshadow brush. I've got an eye crease brush. But these makeup brushes, you can get them for about, I got mine at like Target for like, I think like $2.50 each. And they make they are really, really great dry brushes. And I like them because they're really, they're gentle. They've got very soft bristles. But they also do a very good job of doing a very gradual buildup of the dry brush. Just because the rounded tip of it there. So I recommend going and just getting yourself a set of these. And if you, dry brushing is notoriously rough on brushes. Because, you're getting, you're putting paint on there, wiping it off. You're basically putting dried paint into your brushes. So it's notoriously rough on your brushes. These things are like $2.50 each. So if you end up destroying them, oh no, it's super cheap. It's a brush that costs less than your paint. And that's rare to find. So I've honestly only had them for a couple weeks now at this point, but really like the result I get when, use dry brushing with these makeup brushes. And when it comes to hobby supplies, I recommend, see what other people are doing out there. Look up cool stuff people are using that that it's not intended for. Obviously, these are intended to do makeup. Brush my stuff, but they work really, really great for miniatures because a lot of times stuff that's made for miniatures ends up being a little bit more expensive. You get that quote unquote gaming tax on it. And so you can get some really quality dry brushes for really, really cheap doing it this way. Same with the paint agitators. Using so I was talking earlier. I've started using these little stainless steel nuts as agitators inside my paint. It's a lot cheaper than using say ball bearings that I've seen sold for paint agitators. And if you're able to save your hobby dollars, on that, it lets you buy more Wyrd miniatures. You get all of your faction. Yeah, let's go with a little bit. Let's get the final. Alrighty. Let's get a paint mixer goes brrr. So I'm just going to go, and I'm going to. Now, I'm not quite done with this guy yet. But going and painting the rim black after I'm more or less done with what I'm going to do as far as painting the field there. But going and painting the rim black kind of helps me to see where I need to push highlights a little bit more or not, just to kind of get that contrast. This is one of those things because I can always go back and, I may end up splashing a little bit of paint on it accidentally here. But this helps me to kind of see where I'm at. Because I like a nice, clean black rim on my minis. It really helps to just make the rest of the model pop. Oh, who liked the thing? Thanks for the like. I missed who it was. I was in Painting World. I was in the zone. So, I know a lot of people like to paint their bases based on the faction color. And most of the time, I find that distracting. It's useful in game, I suppose. But I mean, I'm painting more for, a display or to photograph this. This is going to look its very absolute best when I take it, set it up in my photo booth, and take a photo there. I want it to look as best possible there for that. And that being said, anything other than black fights the mini for focus. Like, so this guy, he's Neverborn. So painting it purple takes me out of the scene, I guess. It more or less breaks the fourth wall of the mini for me. That the world of this miniature ends at the rim. It really helps just kind of make it pop, in my opinion. And I think just painting it the rim of the base black gives it a better overall look. Yeah, it's sort of the way I work. In my mind, the universe of the mini ends at the the rim is sort of the void that it's floating in. I don't know. I'm getting all weird and esoteric here, but it ends up being that's where the mini ends, and it makes it pop on a photo backdrop and just really sells the look of the mini for me. Ultimately, paint your model how you want. But it's almost like it's a. If you look at a lot of like competition painted miniatures, they're on like a big old plinth. They'll be on like a, some big black block there. Yeah, this is old hair stuff, but you'll like have it on a you'll have a mini, sitting on a plinth. And I feel like painting the rim black is like a miniature plinth almost. So that's kind of where I go with that. Alrighty. So now we look at this. And that, cleaned up the look of it to me there. And now I can really go and see what I need to hit with a little bit more highlights. Yeah, I mean, I'm touching the rim right now. It's going to end up getting a few fingerprints in it. That's okay. I'm going to go back and clean that up. But going and, blacking the rim right there helps me to know what's still lacking the little bit of detail that I want on it. where I need to push the highlights more. I'm just going back in and adding it, doing on the pumpkin there. Decided to push that highlight just a little bit more. Was actually using very orangey yellow. To really want to push that highlight. To kind of get that shininess of the pumpkin there. This guy's getting close. We're almost done with him here. By the Aquabats, you mean the band? Or is there a new species of aquatic bat? So I've heard of them. I'm not super familiar with their music. I'd probably recognize it if I'd heard it. I definitely know people who were big into their music at some point or another. I definitely know people who were big into the Aquabats. I will have to look into that. Because to be fair, I did not really get super big into music until college. Really, definitely listened to more than my fair share of Weird Al when I was in high school. I loved Weird Al. I still love Weird Al. Weird Al is awesome. The man's a national treasure. I actually saw him in concert a couple years ago. It was really, really awesome. But no, I think the first, so the yes, it was the mandatory fun tour. That was awesome. It was a delightful show. God, I haven't gone to a concert in too long. Stupid pandemic. I want to go see a concert. Well, none of the bands I feel like going to see are coming around have come around yet. I had VIP tickets to go see Lacuna Coil and Apocalyptica, but that got canceled as it had. Well, that got rescheduled. It's been rescheduled like 4 times due to pandemic. Oh, Rammstein, jawohl. I haven't listened to Rammstein in years. I kind of stopped once I learned enough German to understand everything that was being said. I feel like I should revisit it at some point. They kind of disturbed, high school Doug's brain a little bit. I really should. It's one of those bands where it's like I haven't listened to them in years, but I probably absolutely love it even more now. Well, if they don't want it, well, I want it because that'll amuse me. Oh yeah, I find that very amusing. Just going back in with my very brightest silver, kind of getting the spots where the rust would be most scraped off to really make it pop. Got a little buttons down on his crotch there. All right. So I would say he's pretty damn close to finished. Let me just take a look here. I need to highlight that purple up a little bit more. Yes, he's very excited. There's only 364 days till Halloween. Oh, Jay, hey, thanks for tuning in. That is my Vortex Mixer. Basically, it's a little mixer thing that it's an automated mixer because I am apparently a fancy lad now. All the cool kids have got them. Yes, and I'm wearing bells now, so that you can keep track of me. But that faint buzzing you're hearing is my Vortex Mixer. It's a it's an automated paint shaker, basically. Because apparently I'm too fancy to shake my own paint now. No, it just does a really good job of mixing up the paint. Pimp My Ride? Yes. Yes, it is. Is that show still a thing? Oh, that'd be fun. Thanks, Jay. The your lucky emissary that you shared with me yesterday, that you shared in the Texas group yesterday, looked really, really good. Oh, that is a big old model with a lot of detail to it. It's one of those models where even though I don't play Bayou, but I just gotta want to paint that one at some point. It just looks like it's fun to paint. Honestly, I kind of want to just go and paint all of the emissaries at some point. I think that'd be a fun project to do. Just for fun. Now, looks like, unless I'm mistaken, I got about 5 minutes left here, right, Kim? I'm correct. So, just going to set this guy down for a second here. Now, those of you who turned in early saw me working on these. So now, I'm not going to glue these on here right now because I'm actually going to, I want to seal this. So I'll spray it down with a matte spray. And then what these are is, I made these long grass tufts. What I'm going to end up doing is, kind of gluing a bunch of these on here. Around him. So that's going to kind of be how that ends up working out. So those are, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to be taking a bunch of white Elmer's glue, gluing that on there. And then once that's dry, I am going to go back and kind of paint because you see does get a little bit, gets a little bit of that white frosty look from, yeah, exactly, stalking through a field. And it's got that white frosty look on the, there from the super glue I used for it. Gonna trim that up. Might actually splash a little paint on there before I glue it on. But so that I can go back and paint that with the colors that I used on the base. Just kind of tie it all together. But yeah, so that's not enough to do for a whole day painting there. So I'll probably finish that up here during the week. The next time I'm going to be in here painting for you all is going to be on Thursday at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow we've got in here at 11 a.m. We've got Eleanor Sybarite painting in here, and then we got Vyruk painting in the afternoon, right? At least I think that's who we've got. Am I correct there, Kimberly? That is correct. So yeah, it's so got some great painting streams planned for this week. The next time I'll be in here will be Thursday. But yeah, so check out Kimberly Play Wyrd shared my socials there. So check those out. I'll be posting some pictures of Mr. Carver here over the next couple of days once I get him finished. It's kind of going and pushing the highlights in a few spots. Do not make it a thing. Oh, God. It's going to be a thing now. Oh, no. Oh, no. I blame Weird Kyle. That is correct. But yeah, so this is what we've got here. This guy is very nearly done. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow morning to see Eleanor paint. And stay weird, everyone. Have a great night.